Today's session involves brown fountain pen inks. Not brownies, brown inks. Hi, I'm Irene. This is Inkworks, and my mind is on brown. What can I say? I'm sitting here sipping on coffee, which is brown, and thinking about the delicious treat I just had, which was also brown. But more about that later. For now, I'll explain that I set up this sheet of paper ahead of time. It's a loose sheet of 52-gram Tomoe River paper. For the header and grid, I used Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens in both the soft chisel and 1.5 bullet tips. Those are waterproof, by the way. For the actual swatchings, I used a Kakimori brass nib. I really like that nib because it holds enough ink for my testing purposes, yes, but also because I can write with a fine line, or by tilting the angle, I can get a broad stroke. Mine was gifted to me several years ago and was purchased from Yoseka Stationery's online shop. The idea was to begin with the warmest shades and end with the coolest shades. I expect some colors are out of order, but that was the intent anyway. It's no secret that I love browns, so this was a total indulgence for me. And speaking of indulgences, earlier, I enjoyed a lovely cakey brownie with Amarena cherries and syrup topped with whipped cream. Yum, yum, yummity yum. It's something I want to recreate during our Yule celebrations for sure. But before we get to that, there's Thanksgiving and all of its brown glories. Roasted turkey, potatoes, gravy, mushrooms, dinner rolls, stuffing, cinnamon-topped eggnog, and pumpkin pie. That's a lot of golden brown goodness. It's true that the first row of swatches are rather orange-leaning, but they're included here because I don't have enough orange inks to warrant a separate video. Hong Dian's Burleywood and Robert Oster's Brandy look lovely there, but I've used Lami's Mango and Diamine's Autumn Oak more often. The second row is a little more roasty-toasty. The shades have gotten quite caramelly, culminating with my favorite of the grouping, Lami's Topaz from their Crystal collection. That one has a touch of gold sheen, making it that much more interesting. So I've mentioned some food-related browns, but did you know that within the YouTube fountain pen community, there are a couple of pen and ink luminaries, SBRE Brown and Drew Brown. SBRE Brown appears to be a highly respected figure and has his own channel, website, and following. Drew Brown formerly worked at Goulet Pens and contributed greatly to their video and social media content with his engaging personality. In my opinion, he was the best part of the Goulet Pen cast. I now follow Drew Brown's Instagram in hopes of hearing about future pen and ink plans. This morning, I was worried our backyard squirrels wouldn't be able to find the nuts with all of the fallen foliage covering the deck. So I grabbed a broom and started sweeping. Then I remembered, oh yeah, I'm still recovering from an injury, so it took me 3 times as long to do the job. Then I went inside and piled cherries and whipped cream on a brownie. Once this page was completed, there were a total of 19 inks swatched. Of those 19, 11 are from Diamine. Now, please don't get me wrong. I love having choices. There are still plenty of brands I haven't experienced, but I think it's great that there are many to choose from. At the same time, it can feel like too many choices. So I was wondering, if I wanted inks from only one brand, which one would I choose? It wasn't even a hard choice. I picked Diamine, and that's for several reasons. 1, quality. I have yet to encounter a Diamine ink that doesn't perform well. 2, variety. I haven't counted them, but it sure seems like their ink selection is massive. And that's not including the 25 new colors in their annual ink vent calendar. 3, value. Compared to many other brands' inks, Diamine inks are markedly more affordable. Look, prices fluctuate from retailer to retailer and from month to month, but I was just on the JetPens online store, and they had Diamine's 30 milliliter bottles for $8 and their 80 milliliter bottles for $17. The third and fourth rows bring to mind spices, tobacco, and chocolate. There are several sheeners from Diamine: nutcracker, winter spice, and roasted chestnut. I believe those 3 originally debuted in Diamine's ink vent calendars. As for shimmer, I can detect it on winter spice, cocoa shimmer, and brandy dazzle. Again, all from Diamine. Before the end of this video, you will see close-ups where the sheen and shimmer qualities are better displayed. The 5th row ends things on a reddish-brown tinge, most notably Diamine's Ancient Copper, which seems to be a popular choice among ink lovers. But looking at it alongside all of these browns, does it not look a little too red? Interestingly, there are some colors that pair wonderfully with brown. Shades of blue, green, and pink, for instance. But I rarely see red paired well with brown. Of course, when I Googled the question, one of the results said, sure, red goes with brown, but I remain skeptical. What do you think? Is red and brown a magical combination or an aesthetic abomination? Back to the whole Diamine thing. There is an area where I think they're lacking, and that's the area of waterproof inks. I understand they have a blue-black registrar ink, and that's it? That's their only waterproof offering. It would be nice to see a series of waterproof inks with more color options. That's my one and only complaint about Diamine. I'll go ahead and give a shout out to my favorites here. Diamine's Autumn Oak, KWZ's Honey, Lami's Crystal Topaz, Diamine's Tobacco Sunburst, and Monteverde's Pumpkin Cake. Tell me which ones you like or have in your personal ink collection, or perhaps you're a hater, in which case I should brace myself for all of the down with brown comments. Producer Mike and I watched a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving just last night. It always takes me back to my childhood and the commercial ads for Dolly Madison Zingers. But it also reminded me of the song Charlie Brown by the Coasters and other songs with Brown in the title, such as Van Morrison's Brown-Eyed Girl, the Rolling Stones' Brown Sugar, and Crystal Gale's Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue. All classics, of course, but the one I'm most attached to is Golden Brown by the Stranglers. Sure, they were singing about drugs, but what a riff! Plus, I love a good waltz. The original studio recording is wonderful, but the live performance from their All Live and All of the Night album is my favorite version. I always smile when I hear younger generations waxing nostalgic for the 80s, a decade they didn't experience. But then it's no different from my generation's nostalgia for the 50s. I don't think people really want to return to the past. I know I don't. They're just enamored with an aspect of it. like the music or the fashion or the perceived innocence. Because if I had to wear brown saddle shoes with a pink poodle skirt, I would definitely take issue. Although that color combo does work. Do others try to make you feel like the most boring person on earth for liking brown? Asking for a friend? Well, the joke's on them. Brown is warming, comforting, and enriching. I pity those who haven't been charmed by chestnut, taken to tan, honed in on honey, or embraced the beige. It's their loss. Now that that's off my cherry-stained chest, I'm happy to share this ink swatching session. I may not have converted anyone over to the cult of brown, but hey, that means more snacks for me. Until next time, remember, brown-stained fingers are okay. Brown-stained bathroom towels, not okay. And stay artsy, my friends.